I brought my talking stone.
Talking stone. She's like, pull up to me. I have to yell out.
It's awesome. I love the energy, but like Sharon's like, I want to get stuff done. I want to do work. And it's like we need to leave here feeling like we have direction. I think that's so important. We all have passion for sure. All of us here are super passionate. And we've all been on these text chains, so it'd be really good. Like, right? It would be really good. I just thought, I was like, you know, I haven't read everything, but I was feeling like the energy was really frantic, right? Like we're angry, we're upset, all of this stuff. And so it's like we need to get centered and we need to get grounded. Text chains, so it'd be really good. Like, right? It would be really good. I just thought, I was like, you know, I haven't read everything, but I was feeling like the energy was really frantic, right? Like we're angry, we're upset, all of this stuff. And so it's like we need to get centered and we need to get grounded.
It does need some.
So what I'd like to do is we're just going to take a minute to center and to ground. And I know it's funny, but you just wait till you have the stone. So if you want to speak, we're going to pass it around. But then when we're trying to work on our agenda stuff, like just wait till you have the stone. That way we're not having like 30 different voices all at once. It's important. So, and also too, it's good to hold the container of the energy, right? It's like we really need to stay and make sure that we're staying connected so that we can hear everybody. So if everybody could close your eyes. And push your feet into the ground, into the earth. Take a deep breath in. And a big exhale. Another breath in. And an exhale. Continue focusing only on your breath. So as your mind starts to wander with thoughts and chatter, simply say, I am breathing in to yourself. I am breathing out. As you inhale, I am breathing in. As you exhale, I am breathing out. And think about what your breath is for you. What is your breath? What does it mean to you to breathe in? What does it feel like to breathe out? In all sacred texts, the breath is spirit, prana, life force, God, Holy Spirit. And we are in the middle of a spiritual war where people are literally trying to take our breath away. And we know in our bones that this is not right. So I want you to feel for you the power of your breath. As you inhale, let's take a deep inhale together. And a big exhale. And place your hand on your heart. And I want you to envision your babies, your children. Think about them at all of their ages and stages. And this holy connection that you have with your children. Feel in your heart why this fight matters to you. What is most alive? And don't think about what's wrong. Think about what you want to see for your children. What is the vision that you have of them? Running in the fields with their friends, jumping out of the car in the morning, where you can see everybody's teeth and lips and mouth and smiles and hear laughter and song. Envision what it is that you want and feel that in your heart. And just settle into that space of creating the vision you want to see in the world, because we are the change. We are the change. We are the ones that are going to ensure this vision for our children, for the present, for their future. Take another deep breath in, and a big collective exhale. You can gently blink your eyes open. So let's hold this space. And I'd like everybody to introduce themselves just real briefly. Try to keep it less than a minute. Just say your name and what's the most important vision for your children.
I'm Rachel. I've got 3 boys, and my concern for them is just that they're obviously healthy and happy.
It's okay.
And
No, it's okay. I can sit.
this last year and a half has been so hard for them emotionally, for all of us, and it's like, I'm just watching them kind of all fall apart. So just to I don't even want to say get back to normal, because anytime anyone says that, like, what was normal, right? So just to be happy and healthy and not afraid. I mean, I've done my best to downplay this for them and like not give them the drama as much as I can, but they pick it up from us. So yeah, that's my hope for them. If they can just go back to like normal childhood, which for them is running around in the yard and being happy and not being masked, obviously, and not being vaccinated, or being around me that's stressed about them mandating the vaccine. And I don't even want them to have these. We've never had conversations about vaccine. They've been vaccinated against everything else. I haven't been anti-vax. But this scares me. My vision is that they're happy, healthy, and not afraid. And so, yeah.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm actually in Torrance schools, but I have grown kids. Anyways, I just don't want to live in a communist society. Of course. Because I don't want to be run by the
Mary, this is your safe space. Yeah.
I'm Melinda. I also have 3 boys, and I would just like to have a choice in my kids' medical needs.
So it was Melinda?
Yeah.
She's my sister.
Hi everybody, I'm Sandra. I have a 10-year-old and a 15, and I am anti-mask, anti-vaccine, pro-Trump. I'm for freedom and liberty. And last week I withdrew my daughter from PV High because I don't want the CRT. I don't want her to wear mask. So I found some good online school. It's a private school. I'd rather spend money. At least she has a very stable, healthy environment, learning environment. I think that's the most important thing at this stage, of their life, to learn, just to, not get into the politics and all these crazy things, so that's my decision. And then I'm happy to meet you guys. Add me on Telegram.
I don't know how.
How did you get introduced to the group?
So my sister came, and then Sandra asked if she could come along.
Our son, they're best buddies.
I'm Lisa, Melinda's sister. I have a 7-year-old going into 2nd grade at Maricat. I'm so excited to see men here. Yay! That's totally side note. Anyways, stay focused. I'm happy to see all these people here. I just don't want any kind of choice taken away for me and my family, and letting me decide what is best for my family, and nobody else. And I kind of just mirror everything else everybody said. Is like, I think we're all on the same page, but the mask thing is getting to me, and now the vaccine is getting to me. So there you go.
I'm Teresa. I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. I have my 8-year-old is vaccine injured. She almost died when she was 1 year old from the DTaP vaccine. So I've been fighting in California for 7 long years, SB 277 and SB 276, and medical mandates. And Richard Pan promised us that our medical exemptions would be robust and we would be safe and we would be okay. Got a medical exemption, he took them away, and so my daughter in 6th grade, she's going to lose her right to go to school. So that started my battle, and here I am. All this is PTSD for me. Battling the mask mandates, battling the school board. My 5-year-old's completely unvaxxed, very no medication ever in her life. She's never been sick. Coincidence? I don't know. But I hear this a lot from other parents in my situation. They have a kid that's vaccine injured. They never go back and give them another vaccine again. And the sibling is always healthier. It's I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. So after seeing what happened at the school board last week, I'm like, I don't trust the PD schools with my kids. I don't trust them. They haven't been honest with us. Why do I think they're gonna protect the health and safety of my kids? So I pulled them. We went to Mary Star. So far, I hope they don't disappoint me, but so far, every time I've been on campus, no masks. I feel like the principal has, I feel safe for now, and I hope it just works out. So, I'm battling choice for everybody. If you want to get the vaccine, that's fine. If you want to wear a mask, that's fine. But I think we need to be respected in return. That's it.
I'm Sharon. So I have a 7th grade boy currently at PBIS. This is all literally minute by minute, so I don't know. And then I have a 15-year-old that's going to go into 9th grade at PB High. And then I've got a 12th grader who's done PB High, Penn High, Laurel Springs Private School, and now in Maricosa. So I don't want to get too deep into it. I've had tens of thousands of dollars that I've spent and tried to deal with PB High with horrific incident that happened to my daughter who was attacked on campus, and they refused, even with a lawyer and without a lot of money, to do anything about it. And
by kids?
By a boy. And it was horrific, and it almost killed her. So we've been through it, so I just feel like it's so hard to battle them, even with a lawyer, with a whole team. I mean, they just literally laughed and said, no, it's just, and it just gets to a point where, So anyway, for me, again, I don't care if you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, you mask or you don't mask, it's just free choice. Nobody gave me a green card. I came to this country on my own. I fought really hard to get my citizenship so I could vote, and I take it seriously. This is America. The whole world crosses these borders for a reason, Last night, Thursday nights, we were in Bible study, and one of the moms from China, and we literally sobbed. I was in the army. I was told to kill. Now in America, I could be a Christian. I can have a business. I mean, it's just, this is a fight for our absolute future of this country. And every day we wake up and we're like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Every day. It's like everybody's so shell-shocked. I mean, if just one of these things happened 3 years ago, just one of them, there would be like a revolution. But now it's a free-for-all. And it's not
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Yes. And so, like you say, Australia just rounded to 24,000 kids and away. The world would have stopped. The world would have stopped, and there would have been such an outcry. But there's just so much whirling so fast that you can get away with it. I mean, and there's, for every one of us, there's 10 parents who feel the same way, but they're too afraid. They don't want to not be invited to the barbecue. I don't care if I go to your barbecue. They don't want to be ousted. I don't care if I don't go to your birthday party. This is bigger than that. Our kids are going to say, what did you do? So what did you do when all this happened? Oh, I drank my Chardonnay and I went to Hawaii. So it's, I mean, I'm going to So, pulling the kids is easy. They don't want to be pulled. They're like, Mom, every single one of my friends is staying. They're all vaccinated, they're staying, and they're like, why don't I just get the vaccination? I'm like, because that's for the rest of your life. That's not my decision right now. Let's talk about it in a year's time. Okay, let's talk about this in 1 year and see. But right now, the decision is no. For them, we're talking suicide. We're talking massive consequences, really big consequences for pulling them out, for alienating them. It's not an easy decision. So and it's like, it's even if we pull our kids out and go into private school, it's not going to stop. It's going to be the sports. It's going to be everything we have. We have to really, we gotta, it's time to stand up. And, you know, there's nothing more ferocious than moms when you start, you know, poking the bear.
All right, I have a lot to share, so I'm going to try to keep it like concise. And
I was more than 3 minutes.
no, same. There's just
name,
so much fun.
kids, school.
Bree Thomas. I have 2 kids. My oldest is 15. She's going into Penn. And then my youngest, Shay, she is 8, and she was going to Monte Malaga. I'm 100% going to pull her. Right now, my husband and I, we're going to go. We've been looking at a couple different homeschools over the weekend, and we're trying to decide the best one. But 100% going after, same thing after seeing the bullshit last week is, that was it for us. But I've been struggling with my oldest because of the same thing that you guys are experiencing, where she has had such a hard year. We moved from Santa Monica 2 years ago, and she already doesn't have a ton of friends. And it was the 8th grade year was really hard for her.
Yeah.
So
Where's the box dishes? We moved from Venice, so yeah. And then Rich moved from Hollywood. I mean,
Hey, your daughter can be my daughter's friend.
yeah.
15.
Mine's 15.
I'm really happy to meet everybody.
Yeah. We have, back each other up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We're going to be fine. So, and same thing where I carry a lot of guilt with my oldest that I vaccinated her, and it's the same thing as you're saying, wake up in the morning and you don't know. But I live every morning, I hear her not being able to breathe when she blows her nose. And my youngest...
She got the COVID vaccine?
No, she has all the other vaccines. And my youngest, I got a Dr. Sears exemption for my youngest, and she's fine. So I just live with this question every day if it was my fault because I didn't know better.
Right.
You can't blame yourself.
Okay, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did the best thing that you thought as a mom.
Yeah.
That's all we could do with the information that we had.
Yeah.
That's how I get through it. You know, we've been lied. I mean, I believe, my belief is we've been lied to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why this hurts, because you see it happening again.
Yeah. It's like reliving this trauma, seeing with them trying to force now this experimental.
When you know
gene
better as a
therapy.
mom and with your instincts.
Yeah. Here you go.
That's a lot.
It's like a data dump.
So I'm Anna Coyle, and I have a 9-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy at Vista Grande. And we moved from San Pedro about 4 years ago, and we were so excited to live in PB. You know, it's like District Pedro, and you're like, you know, the best school district and all this. So
we're all pulling out of it.
In everybody's
Well,
basement.
it might be better than LA Unified on
Yeah.
that.
This is true.
Toss up.
Maybe a little bit.
and my husband will not let me forget how much taxes we pay that go to schools.
That's the point, right? That's the
That's
point.
why he won't allow me to pull them out and put them in private, because we're paying so much for public. So, yeah, it's hard. And I'm kind of like a shy personality. I only really talk about this stuff with people I know that share the same views, because I don't like to... I'm not confrontational. If you want to talk to me about something, I'll tell you, but I don't really like ruffle people's feathers.
Oh, Sharon and I don't have that problem.
So it's been really hard at my school, because I felt like I was alone, except my little group I have with my sister in South Carolina, and like this small little group. But until recently, because I have some friends there of my kids' parents, and none of them see a problem with all this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, they're
Where's
even
this, South Carolina?
no, at Vista Grande.
Oh, right.
No, and they're like, over masking their kids, and even when they don't need to, and it's just like the mentality. So it just has really bothered me. And then I was lucky enough to meet Teresa online on Telegram, amazing, of all places, and she introduced me to her book club. After a couple weeks of vetting me. And then Erin and Teresa and I organized the first rally. But it's been this like crazy journey that has gone from me to like 50 people or whatever, how big our group is, in a matter of a couple months. So to me, it's really positive that this is happening, and people are coming out of their rocks and seeing other people in the same fight.
my kids have all been vaccinated with the other vaccinations. I'm not like against it. But I have 3 kids. I have a 16-year-old is supposed to go back to Penn, a 15-year-old supposed to go back to PV High, and then I have a almost 13-year-old that's supposed to go back to Marlest. So throughout this whole pandemic from the very beginning, my husband in his career, the things that he was seeing, that we became aware very early that there was something very strange about this whole thing. The numbers of, people were being counted as dead from COVID that did not die from COVID. And when I would try to tell people about that, they would just look at me like I was crazy. I mean, now there's been a couple people that I've talked to about that like, like they don't just completely dismiss me now, but there's no like conversation. So I'm sure just like everybody else sitting at this table, we know that there's just something wrong. And the fact that it's being pushed so hard, that there's censorship, going on, that they're trying to cover people's voices that are, opposing this or even questioning it or anything, as Sharon saw with the board meeting and all that last night. I don't want my kids. I'm worried for them. I'm scared for them. I don't want them to be ostracized because they're not vaccinated. I tried to talk to them about it so that they're ready for it. But we were fortunate enough to spend the summer in Idaho, and life was very normal the whole summer. There was no issues with masking. Only a third of the population up there is vaccinated, so it's not an issue, although they have their issues with the schools trying to push it there too. And they had vaccine clinics set up at the schools there too at the end of last year. But most of the population there wants people to leave them alone. They just want to live their life. They want their kids to be healthy and make a choice. But so that's, for me, it's just there's so many questions. It doesn't feel right, and it scares me to make that decision to have my kids injected with something, and then if I make that decision and something goes wrong, I don't know what I would do. They're too young, and my husband now is being faced with if he doesn't get vaccinated by the end of September, they're going to fire him.
Same here.
And he doesn't know what he's going to do. He's a year and a half away.
He's sick all of a sudden. You take disability.
Well, he's a year and a half away from retirement, and
well,
so
he's going to be sick for 18 months.
He's a police officer.
That's my husband's on disability right now, and he's thinking they can still push it.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me today. We were talking about that. Even if you're injured on duty,
in order to collect disability,
it's going to get really bad.
It's going to get ugly.
It's going to get really ugly, really bad. And I think by October we're going to see the worst of it.
I have a 13-year-old son, and he someday will go to PVIS. He hasn't yet, and he's going to enter into the 7th grade. For me, I don't want him to get a vaccination. I don't believe in the way that they set this whole thing up. I'm not anti-vax, but not in this new version. Also, like, I've been a liberal my whole life. Okay. My family was. We're all union electricians. And then for myself, I was a union lineman. I was I was a union steward. I've been part of the union body, and I believed everything they said. So marched with them. I've done everything I have with the union. And then my wife, or my late wife, she worked for NBC News, and she would tell me years before Trump ever came around that they have a narrative, and that the news that they don't like, they throw in the trash. And she reads it all the time, but it doesn't fit their narrative. So I was like, oh, wow. And then when Trump started running, I was like, I don't believe I've never seen the news attack one person so much. I mean, what is going on, right? This guy could not be that evil, right? There's no freaking way. And besides, everybody loved him. He was a quasi-Democrat. He couldn't kick Hillary out, so he had to go to the Republican Party. Right? So it's like, wow, this is like crazy. And then I started looking at all the news and everything, and I started looking at all the alternative news, and then I found that I'm like, look, it was like a sledgehammer hit me in the head. I was like, oh my God, I've been lied to my whole life. I can't believe it, right? And I always thought that the right-winger guys were like just gun toters, because I work with a ton of linemen. There's no women in my job, right? And I work for Edison now, and I'm in charge of them. And when COVID came, you know, we didn't know what to do. We acted like linemen. Oh, mask, yeah, fuck that shit. You know, everything was like, whatever. And then when we started getting COVID, they're like, oh, well, I get to go home. See you guys, right? Right? And everybody had just like a sore throat, and they were sick 2 days, and that was it. And I caught it twice, and the same thing. I mean, I remember coming in, because we had to go all these off locations, because, you know, we had to be all separate in case we contaminated each other. So I came in the morning, and I pulled up, and I seen everybody talking. There's like 10 guys all screaming. I'm like, roll down my window this much, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, we're sick. And I'm like, well, okay, how many guys? Raise your hands. Every person raised their hand. All sick. And I'm like, God dang it. So I rolled up the window, and I called them, and they said, hey, don't go anywhere. I'll find out what you need to do. Right? And then I found out, you know, they're all quarantined, including myself, and we all went home. And because we have union rules, we play this kind of game where we get to have time off, 10 days, quarantine, don't have to work, and we get paid. Right? And then when we come back, they want us to work like 24/7 almost every other night. So you're just making hand over fist. These guys made a lot of money last year. And, you know, you all like electricity. So we'll be out there, and we don't care about COVID. We don't. So anyway, when I first registered to vote, I registered as a Republican, because at the time I thought, oh wow, well, you know, that they're going to be the party in power in the future, because I just felt that way. Because if I was a Democrat, I would try to vote the wrong person in the primaries, so Democrats would always win. That was my plan when I was 18. And then here I am, I've never changed my affiliation, and now I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I've been a Republican my whole life, even though I was never really. So anyway, here I am. Thank you, everyone. Who's next?
Well, so my dad's a doctor, or was a doctor. So I was raised kind of with my mom and I and my dad in medical books, and like collaborating on whatever the latest thing was. And so I was raised kind of curious in that way. My dad went through his residency to become a pathologist when I was a teenager, so every night I made him tell me everything that went on that day in school. And so, and I think I was just kind of born, my mom said I was irritating at 3, having to know why before she'd get me to do a thing, ever. And then, so, you know, and then 10 years ago I got diagnosed with a rare blood cancer, and they couldn't help me. But until it was really bad, they said. So, and they had no advice for how to help myself. And so, you know, that actually is 12 years ago, I think. So anyway, it's not important. And that started me having to look outside of the allopathic paradigm and find other ways to shift, like my body, so I didn't die as quickly. And so I had to, you know, I did, you know, read tons of books before they messed up the internet, you know, dug into all sorts of different types of ways that people found their way back from stage 4 cancers and lived. And so, and somewhere in there, I started to, I have a 33-year-old, and he's always been pretty healthy. But he was vaccinated in the 80s, and I don't think I was really adamant even about getting him in for that. So, and he was, like I said, pretty healthy. Well, I have 2 kids, so I have 3 kids. Sorry, I didn't even say my name. You don't even know who is talking.
It's Juliet, right?
Juliet.
My brain works a little bit, actually. I remember meeting you, but that's okay.
Welcome.
Really cute.
Juliet.
What's my name? And I swear
I've lived up here for about 17 years, and I think I belong here. I feel like this is a relief to be around people that I'm not constantly hiding my ideas from. you know, and my feelings. Yeah, I started to explore, and I had a friend that had like 6 kids, and they were just robust and healthy and never got sick. So I was like, you know, we chatted one day, and she told me some sites to look up because I said, you know, I'm interested. And so then I looked there, and that started like where I started to understand the factor that vaccines play in the health of children. I didn't understand before that. And so then I started joining nurses groups, and, you know, for anything I've joined, because that's just kind of how I am, I just really wanted to know the truth. I joined both groups. You know, I wouldn't join a gentle organic parenting group without joining, you know, a nurses group or a, you know, something on the other side, a pro-vaccine group, you know, and just listened, and who was more tolerant, whose conversations were more elevated, and then the information itself, you know, and the stories as well. And over, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years, I started to lean more and more that, and then reading too, that vaccines, in fact, and then remembering how my daughter projectile vomited every time she came back from vaccines, and how my son had chronic lung problems. Not my older one. He was healthy as a horse, but he wasn't vaccinated so much. But my other two. How my son failed to thrive at about 4 years old, you know, and had chronic lung infections and stuff. And started to realize, with my youngest, I started to demand they'd only give one to him, not all of them together. And then the doctor threatened me, and it was, you know, you're going to pay a lot more money, and there's no reason for that. And, you know, any question I had was met with adversarial attitude and, you know, bullying of a sort. But I grew up with my dad being a doctor, so I thought I knew more, usually. So it didn't bother me. I just thought they were stupid. But my husband's very, he's an engineer, so it's always been so tension-filled to have these awarenesses and to grow and learn in these ways, and to have him proud to give us this medical care, you know, and that's one of his big prides. So, you know, it's just been very stressful because I've been flying under that radar with my kids, trying to keep them healthy, and then I have a husband that's, you know, can't really get around what I'm finding out. And so, excuse me, I'm sorry. No, it's fine. It's been very stressful that way, and it's still that way, even with all of this. And and you know, I've lost over. I feel like I have a book club group of 15 girls that they've all vaccinated. They vaccinate all their kids as young as they possibly can. None of them would listen. You know, I had to, again, just gently put things in because I don't want to alienate them, you know, and it wouldn't do any good anyway. If I alienate them, I can't put little things in their ears anymore, you know. So I tried, and they all just, I had zero effect. You know, just frustrating. Makes me feel like sometimes like, why am I even here?
You have a new book club now.
Yes. So it's just been, and they laugh at me, you know, like recently, you know, they laugh when I make, like they were laughing at the protests. And I mean, that night when I went down there, my girlfriend said that, something happened to the meeting. We're all watching the meeting, and well, that's weird. Well, it's offline. And I was like, my husband was helping me craft something to say that wasn't too inflammatory, but got my point across. And, and I just grabbed it and I said, there's got to be a protest. There has to be. There's got to be other people that feel like me. I ran down there, and I found some lady on the street with the sign. I said, is there a protest? She said, ah! And screaming. She started screaming as well. And I was like, you're a kid, a little child. I don't know what he thought, but, you know, he screamed along. It was just such a relief to know that
you're not alone.
I wasn't alone. And so, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, you start to feel like, am I the only one thinking?
They make you feel
that
crazy.
something's fishy here?
Yeah.
Like, am I the only one? Like,
My children, my oldest is vaccinated. He right away went down. He wouldn't listen, and I've helped him. You know, they've looked to me for their health most of their life, and I've always used grown things into natural things, and this, they just have everyone, my husband, my kids, my oldest, they all, and extended family have turned their back on me. And
Fear has taken
when I leave, I say, well, the thorn's leaving your side now, so you guys can, but, and I do feel that way, like they would just have gotten vaccinated and gone with the program, and the only thing that's holding, it's like Three Gorge Dam, is me holding up, and some days, honestly, I'm just like, well, go get it,
They're saying the cancer survivors are crazy. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, the rare, deadly cancer survivors. Well, I'm just glad you're all here, and I'm glad that I'm not. There are other people out there that have done something.
It's gonna start growing.
Yeah, that's just the beginning.
Yeah, I think each of us have 10. I'm just too afraid to 10 up.
Yes. All right. So my name is Paige. I actually live in Torrance, and I don't have children, so I'm an outlier. But I'm really good friends with Bree, and as she mentioned, and we've just obviously been very like-minded. And when the lockdowns and everything first started, we would go to different events together. So she just said, "Do you want to come to this one?" So I thought, why not? It's always great to meet like-minded people. Don't have children. Can't imagine how I'd feel if I did have children and I was having to deal with this stuff, but just in general, I'm obviously pro-freedom, being able to have a choice to do things, property rights, whether it contains to my personal property, my body, or my home, my business, all of those things. And so just been very upset with everything in general that's been happening. So I thought I would come to meet everyone and connect with others. And
Thank you. Okay, so I'll share. Erin DiMaggio. I got 3 kids, 8, 12, and 15, all at different schools. What is most important to me? So I think I just want to give a little backstory. When this whole thing happened, so I hated Trump. Hated. My husband and I almost got divorced because he voted for Trump. And we had to go to counseling because of our political arguments. I think he was like, "Oh, he's shaking me." Like, why does it? And I'm like shaking him. Like, why don't you get it? And that
sounds familiar.
Right? Sounds pretty normal, right? But it's like I thought about it. Like, I just like when I put on because when you get divorced, you have to put like your reason why. I really don't think like voting for Trump. And but then when this whole so I have a background, like I love health, I love psychology, I'm a parent educator, I was a personal trainer, yoga teacher, like I know health, I know a lot about health, I know what we need. I've always been into like the power of positivity, mindset, like meditation. And then when all of this happened, I'm like, wait, this is not right. So because it was something that I had so much information about, I'm like, you don't tell people to stay home. You don't isolate people. These things are known to be deadly. Like, we know that isolation is a war strategy. I'm like, that's what they do to prisoners of war. This is a hostage situation. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But what was even crazier was like, when I would say things to friends, the attacks back that I got. And I'm just an open book. I just share everything. I like impulsively can't help it. Like on Facebook, this is so wrong. And then I'm getting all of this like hate and attacks and
you want people to die?
Yeah. And it was the things that were being said back were so irrational to me, and none of it made sense. So it made me then investigate everything, and I started, going back like years ago, and they're like, history repeats itself. I'm like, okay, 1918 Spanish flu, let's see. And then it was like the amount of like Pandora's box was open, and I'm like, oh my God, it is all fake news. Like, I'm like, we are in the Matrix. But it was that like kind of deeper level of awareness and awakening. And then because I've led women's groups over the years, in my women's groups, the fundamental thing that I teach people in women's groups is like to be who you are and allow other people to be who they are. And let people share their story is their story, your story is your story. You don't you don't try to change and manipulate their story. And I saw all these women that had been to my events suddenly now like in terror and telling everybody what they had to do. And it was then that like I became patriotic. Like I never felt
And you love Trump, right?
like I love Trump. I don't know about him. I don't know.
I don't know about him either,
But it was that realization that this is something so much bigger. This is about the destruction of our freedom. This is about the destruction of America. Why are they trying to homogenize all of us?
World.
Right? What is this where we're suddenly trying to make everybody do the same health care treatment? Like we're putting everybody on the same drug. And so I think throughout this, the good news is I lost so many like friends that I just got, and I always was trying. I was trying to always work on that place of just like fully being me, fully showing up, and not caring about what anybody else thought. And because I got so much hatred thrown at me and attacks, that I just feel impenetrable now. You know, where it's like I finally got the thick skin that I've been trying to build. And so I think for what I want to see, what I really want to see, and I'm hearing all of you leave the schools, right? And it's like I respect that decision, but I feel like this is going to chase us wherever we are.
Yeah.
Like this, no matter, and so it's like it's great in the short term, protect your kids if you can. But wouldn't it be awesome if we could actually fix our schools so you can come back, right?
Well, that's my plan. That's our plan.
Like,
right? That's our plan.
But how can we do that with so few people?
So here's the thing.
Each of us
Here's
really
the
has
thing.
10.
I want to talk
David
about
and
that.
Goliath.
There's so few. That is
David
not
and
true.
Goliath.
I absolutely.
There's more.
Okay,
Than
because this is the thing. Look at what they've done. And so in the beginning of the pandemic, I made a shirt that said immune. Immediately got taken down and censored. I was like, what, just for saying immune? Like, I'm not allowed to say I'm immune? So anytime somebody speaks out, it's deleted. They deleted 22 million posts on Facebook, right?
Really?
And this is what our school...
Yeah, they deleted my account.
But this is what the school board just did. The school board just took what was
questions yesterday and muted them all.
It was a beautiful thing.
We're in the next door jail.
There were, but it was like we were coming together. We were using our voices. I thought it was amazing.
Were they allowed to do that? That's legal.
So because they didn't approve the agenda, it wasn't technically a school board meeting.
And they need to do that,
And
right?
they had
Like,
everything was
we,
planned.
yeah.
Everything
So we need to go back and do that again.
Yeah.
And you just
And I'm gonna wear a
We
Darth
go
Vader
back.
mask or
So
something.
you can wear your little funny
Okay.
spongy mask.
I have, you know, my kids have so many masks. I'll just wear one of their
We have one
costumes.
We skipped you. So Danica, we were just introducing ourselves and saying what's most alive for you.
Like
What's
kids,
most passionate.
kids, school, whatever. So kids, start with your kids where they go to school.
Danica's the one that started this.
Yeah, she started.
Danica is our founder right now.
That's why she gets that
I
chair.
enjoyed the book. This is the discussion.
I'm so glad you enjoyed the book.
That we never discussed. Right?
Thank you for having us tonight, Sharon. I think this is the first time I'm meeting you and seeing you.
I am totally a novice, but I'm just like, I just need action, you know, it's like, I mean, it's...
I've loved your energy in the group. Like, just in all the chats. I texted Paige. I'm like, I can't wait to meet Sharon. Like, I like love your... And no, that's what we need.
I just feel like it's a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
Like every day we wake
Yes.
up, and it's we can't wait.
No.
We can't wait
It's
and then
escalating too
try and reverse. You can't reverse, you know, we just can't.
It's too dangerous and serious.
Okay,
No, the
Danica.
phone is blowing up, I know. I'm Danica. Thank you guys so much. What's most important to me is freedom. Freedom of choice. I don't care what anybody wants to do. Just, where's the freedom? Where's our choice? And I think I can't sum it up any better than that right there. My kids matter to me the most.
Ages and schools? What
Rancho Vista and Miralest.
What ages?
What? Charlie's going into... I didn't realize that. Oh, Jesus, I'm so sorry.
11 and 8.
So Rancho Vista and Miralest?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, so I think, sorry, did you have...
I don't have more. Go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, there's a little bit of salad, some pizza, if anyone wants to take a break, get some wines, and get some water.